Hey, my name's Georgina, but hopefully you guys will get to know me a little bit better as Georgiebee here. So the two main areas that I want to look at on my YouTube channel are my two favourite passions in life, and they are fashion and makeup. And I want to tell you guys a little bit of my story and how I got into loving these two areas. So I was born on the 17th of March in London, but my birth wasn't your average birth. I was born with a cleft lip and palate. This means that I was born with a not fully formed face. It meant that there was a hole that went from my lip and my nose back to the very back of my mouth. This meant that I was rushed into an emergency surgery just minutes after I was born to try and close up the hole in my mouth and the hole in my lip. The only problem is that the cleft lip and palate had a little bit more damage than they had seen beforehand. And sadly it had also affected my brain. After leaving the hospital, about a week and a half later, I was rushed back into the hospital via ambulance because I was no longer breathing. I was put on life support and nobody could figure out what had happened to me. The problem was that a part of my brain, as I said, had been affected. And this meant that I couldn't produce any hormones by myself. So I wasn't growing and I wasn't acting like a normal child, which I never ever do. I've never acted normal. Anyway, so fast forward a few years, I've had roughly 25 surgeries and it wasn't the nicest of time growing up as a kid. When I was 10 years old, my entire family and I moved from England to Germany to try and get better health care. The other problem was that when I arrived there, it wasn't the nicest of welcomes. The people, it was very alienating. I didn't speak the language and I had no friends it felt like in the entire world. So it started off with things, for example, the most obvious being my nose and my lip, as well as my weight. But from there it went on to things such as just the way I held a pencil because they could bully me. And the worst thing was, when I first arrived there, I didn't speak a word of German. I didn't know what they were laughing at me for, but I knew that they were laughing at me. And I couldn't even defend myself from the people that were laughing at me. And the hardest thing, I think, looking back, is that there was nothing that I could do for the way that I looked. And the things that they bullied me for were things that I was born with at birth. And instead of coming up to me and asking me about them, they chose to laugh at me. Looking back though, the hardest thing was that they were laughing about me for things that I couldn't change. They were laughing about me for things that I was born with and that I was working really hard to mentally work on, and it took a lot out of me for them laughing at me while I was trying to become a stronger person and become a more positive person about who I am and the way that I look. So about 2 years of bullying later, I was finally hospitalized for panic attacks. It was a really tough time for me. I had gone from overweight to extremely underweight. I was not eating, and I was probably the most depressed I've ever been in my entire life. So immediately after that, my parents decided to take me out of that environment and transfer me to a new school. At that school, I was not bullied at all. I felt really welcome, but I was still internally, I was battling with the depression and the fact that I had no confidence in myself. At this time, I decided that it was time for me to find my voice, for me to find out who I am and what I'm passionate about. So from that point on, I got into a lot of new things to try and figure out where I was and who I was. This started from plays to music, and probably my worst decision ever was softball. Now, if you're like me and your hand-eye coordination is non-existent, you don't want to start playing softball, okay? It's a lot of very hard, not so soft balls to the knee, and it hurts. So that still wasn't for me. So this was a few years later now. I was in 11th grade, and I still hadn't figured out what I loved. So I want to be honest with you guys, and in the 11th grade, another really tragic event happened which altered the way that I live now. And that is that 3 days after my 18th birthday, my dad passed away. It was unexpected, and he was one of the most influential people in my life, and he changed me to be the person that I am today. But this also helped me to focus on not caring what other people thought, and remembering that you don't live forever, and that if you sit there caring about what everybody else thinks and not what you think, you're going to sit there your entire life and never feel confidence in yourself. So that's when I decided that all those wacky, crazy clothes that I love to wear, that everyone else thinks are absolutely insane, is what I want to wear. So I went to school in the craziest of outfits. I'm going to show you guys a few pictures now of what I looked like back then, and also what my makeup looked like back then, because it wasn't what it looked like today. It was very interesting. Cue, brown lipstick, and indigo eyeshadow, because that was a look back then. Okay, I swear it. Anyway, so from there I gained a lot more confidence from just putting on clothes that I absolutely loved, and I didn't care what anybody else thought. I just wanted to do what I wanted. And this went on from there, and I got more and more excited about new ideas. And for example, I also tried out purple hair and blue hair as one of my lovely experiments, and I love them. So when I went to university, I discovered the world of makeup, and I fell in love with it. Now, I thought back in high school I was the boss at makeup with my little bit of mascara and my little bit of lipstick. I thought I was so cool, and I thought that I was the best makeup person there. But a few years on, I've really discovered what makeup can do for you and how great and how much confidence it's given me. At first though, my relationship with makeup was a little bit more, I wanted to cover up my face. I wanted to cover up my scars. I didn't want people staring at my face. So instead of having people come up to me and ask me, well, what happened? I just wanted them to walk by as if I were normal. And this wasn't the relationship that I really wanted. I wanted to wear makeup and to use it to make these amazing looks, but I didn't want to feel like I had to cover anything up. I didn't want to feel ashamed of any part of my face. So that's what I want to show you guys today. I want to give you guys this understanding of how you can use makeup to express your craziness if you're just as insane as I am. Moving on from my story, I know I may not have had the worst situation, and I know that there are people out there that have had it far harder than I have. But I just want to be here to tell you guys, no matter what you've been through, no matter who's bullied you and what they've bullied you about, it doesn't matter. You can still do what you love. I hope you guys will follow me on my new journey. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that if this video inspired you at all, or you could relate in any way to my experience, that you'll go ahead and subscribe. I put out new videos every Sunday, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.